Long way, get this shit a long way, shit a long way. Long way, hit the long way, 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 shit a long way, 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 shit a long way. Gotta get the shot, get the shit a long way, get the shot, get the shot, get the shit a long way, rich, yeah. Gotta get the shit a long way, get the shot, know she don't really understand, man. Gotta know what she don't really understand, man. Gotta get a meal, but she don't understand. She be tripping every day, she be tripping every way. But I gotta get this shit a long way, yeah. Tryna get money every single way, tryna get money every single day, yeah. Get money every single way, every day. Every day we gotta get paid, yeah. Every day we gotta get paid, yeah. I'm feeling like we be the new slaves. No, we gotta finish rich. No, we gotta finish rich. Got a new bitch, she don't understand. She don't understand. Niggas gotta get rich. She don't understand. Sometimes we gotta hit lit. No, we ain't hit lit. Trying to get the long way, yeah. Tryna get this shit the long way, yeah. Cause you tryna wrap up a entree, yeah. Told you the other day that did my phone strong. We gon' shoot the long way, we gon' get the long way, yeah. Yeah, get this shit the long way. My bitch be tripping back and forth like a phone way. My name is Tari, I ain't playing games, so I'm done talking. Yesterday she told me that she about to leave, man. Said fuck it, bitch, we gon' get some money. Said fuck it, bitch, I'm about to get some money. So what I do today, I want to get some money, yeah. Cause we gon' get this shit the long way, long way, we gon' get this shit the long way, yeah. Back and forth like the pong way, yeah. Man, I'ma get this shit the long way, get this shit the long way. Just the only way today, because they go with shit's crazy. You gotta wear a mask, we the new slaves, and we be wearing this shit like every day. We be okay, we gon' be okay, they gon' be okay, they gon' be okay for me, yeah. So we gon' get this shit the long way, we gon' get this shit long way, we gon' get this shit the long way, we gon' get this shit the long way, yeah, we get this shit the long way, yeah, cause we gon' be okay, we gon' be okay, yeah, we gon' get the long way, yeah.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome. You're right. What's up, Dave? You're right. You know what? I totally forgot. I am in Pacific time zone right now, so it's only 7 o'clock here, 10 o'clock for most of the SMD family on the East Coast. I do apologize. Totally forgot. But anyway, you know, you guys read the title. Anyway, if you're new to the channel, my name is LJ Young, and I am a 100. Hold on for a second. I am a 100% debt-free motivational speaker and personal finance. Oh, no, I am all the way off today. Hold up. I'm trying to do two things at once. That's the problem. 1 second. All right, turn that off. All right, welcome. I'm here to share my gift, okay? And my gift is that I know capitalism is psychological, split into two parts, positive and negative, all right? This is a mathematical fact. It really doesn't matter how you feel about it, because if you disagree with me, you are disagreeing with mathematics. And if you are disagreeing with mathematics, that means you have a hence psychological problem. But anyway, knowing this, there are people that live on the negative side of the economy who are called debt slaves. Now, debt slaves don't know that they're debt slaves. Debt slaves are people that believe they can own things with absolutely no money of their own, believe they can buy houses with mortgages, buy cars with car loans, believe they can own equity in a mortgaged house, and believe they can invest in retirement while having student loan debt older than the retirement plan. Those are called debt slaves. Okay. All right. Now, again, that's the psychological part. They don't know that they're debt slaves. Now, how do I know this? Because I was once a debt slave, right? Now, believing in credit and credit scores and all that other stuff, while I was in the debt matrix, people used to always say this to me, right? I got to tell you this. You do know credit card companies are privately owned companies. They used to always say that to me. Like, when you're a debt slave, you don't really know what that means, because I was so hung up on credit. But they used to always tell me that credit card companies are privately owned businesses. That should have been a signal to say, if it's privately owned, that means it's for profit. Okay, but that didn't even wake me up. But anyway, I was a debt slave, 6-figure earning, whatever, right? 6-figure. Those are the biggest debt slaves. The people that earn 6 figures or more. Those are the, you guys don't even know. Those are the biggest debt slaves. They're in the deepest of debt. It just doesn't look like it because they can finance more stuff than the average person, but they are in the deepest of debt. Deep. That was me. Okay. Till I woke up, came to the positive side of the economy, and realized I didn't even own myself. I realized now that I look at credit reports, credit reports are clearly owner ledgers. They keep track of all the businesses that own me. So everybody that was listed on my credit report, they all own a piece. They all owned a piece of me because I owed them. I owed them money. I borrowed their money. I had to pay it back. Student loans, credit cards, whatever. That's called business, right? Once I got to zero, I realized I was free and saw it for what it really was. Credit scores are nothing but reward points for staying in debt with the owners listed on your credit report. That's all it is. It's just, and it's nothing personal. I have nothing against the credit card companies. Congratulations for getting all the money you got out of me with all the interest and all the good stuff. Congratulations. Hey, no hard feelings. Nobody made me do anything except other debt slaves, okay? Period. Congratulations to all credit card companies. All right. All banks, everybody. I don't really care. There was, anyway, what do? I help people come from the negative side, from the negative side of our economy and help you participate on the positive side of our economy, where you don't commit tax evasion. You don't really have to be scared of the IRS because you're following all the laws and rules that are supposed to be followed. So there's nothing to be scared of. Taxes help build wealth. You can legally not pay taxes. What else? But you have to. The requirement number one, you have to own yourself, and your credit report will reflect that. No matter how much money you have, like say like you're a big money earner right now. If I look at your credit report and you have owners, now listen to me closely, and you have owners listed on your personal credit report, you are a debt slave. I don't care how much money you got. That's your owner ledger. Okay. It doesn't matter how you feel about what I'm saying. That's 100% irrelevant. Irrelevant. All right. Because if you disagree with me, you disagree with math. Period. There is no other options, questions. Like, let me give you guys another example. I'm gonna tell you guys this before it actually happens, because all of the SMD family knows. Okay. As SMD grows, as I grow, SMD grows. I'm not SMD, but I'm a spearheaded, so I'm just like bouncing back and forth between me. But SMD is a family, it's not me. But anyway, as I grow, I'm gonna be invited on more and more podcasts, right? So for whatever reasons, it really doesn't matter, right? And then the SMD family is going to go into the chat. Now, when I'm on those podcasts, I don't look at the chat because I don't really want to see the chitter chatter of debt slaves. Well, what I want all the debt slaves to know, you guys are unarmed when the SMD family comes into the chat. You guys have no idea. You guys are unarmed completely. Completely unarmed. So I don't even have to pay attention to the chat because they're going to eat you alive in the chat. Totally eat you guys alive. Totally. So don't even worry about trying to talk about me when I'm on the live, because you guys are going to get eaten alive. I want to make sure you guys all know that before it happens, because I already see it. Sometimes I'll go back and read the chat and I see the SMD family saying everything I say now. They know how to say it, in what context, everything. What do you think is wrong? What, pull out the calc? They know. They all know. Now, let's go to the title of the video, okay? Because I want you to understand, I will be worldwide. Believe that. Okay, that's a fact. And you probably, if you're new to the channel, you're probably thinking, well, how do you know that, LJ? Because there is nobody else like me on any social media platform. That's what it says. This is how I know. That's how I know. If you don't believe me, go find somebody like me. You won't. And then when you don't, you come back and you subscribe. Okay? You go find another person on any social media app, platform, whatever, And when you do not, you come back here and you subscribe. That's just being honest with yourself. Okay. Now look at the title of this video. Now this is going to confuse a lot of you debt slaves, okay? Because you guys are just, you're there by choice, okay? I'm not here to talk about you because I was once a debt slave. I was a 6-figure earning college educated debt slave. Sure was. That was me. And then I freed myself and I'm out. So listen, all of you guys out there not making 6 figures, do not be impressed by people that do. Okay, don't. They're usually in quadruple the debt you are. I promise you that. Most of them have 6 figures of student loan debt to match their salaries. Did you know that? Ask a doctor, ask a lawyer, ask them. Say, hey, does you say it just like that too? Say, does your student loan debt match your salary? Are they both in the 6 figures? Guess what they're going to say? Yes, it is. Yes. Now, if you're listening to me and you are the doctor and lawyer that you're hearing me, I'm talking to you. Yeah, you got to be honest with yourself. Okay, listen. I'm going to talk straight to the doctors and lawyers with 6-figure student loan debt that matches their salaries. Okay, both of them are in the 6 figures. I'm talking to you. You guys, man or woman, it doesn't matter your race, color, anything. It doesn't matter. You guys are only tricking debt slaves, okay? I can see you, okay? And there's other people like me that can see right through your facade of cars and houses. We can see you, so you're not fooling. So you can take that one of two ways. You can say, I'm full of shit, or you can say, how can he see me? And I'm gonna tell you, one look at your credit report will tell me if you have many owners on your credit report, on your personal credit report. I'm talking to you. You're a debt slave. I can see you. Like if you have a Porsche and a big house and but you have student loan debt and a house, you're quadruple your salary in debt. I'm talking to you. You're only fooling debt slaves and other people like you. Again, you can look at it two ways. You can say, how does he know that? You guys are the most people, like, you guys are the main people of the title of this video. You guys got these houses that you don't even live in because you live at work. Why do you have a mortgage? Listen, all you 6-figure earners. Why do you have a mortgage if you're always at work? Now, a lot of that title alone is going to stun you because you don't know the answer, okay? I know you don't know the answer. And you have nobody to ask because you and all your friends have mortgages. You guys will never know, ever. The majority of you won't, at least. And that's a choice. Okay, I want you guys to understand that, all you 6-figure earners. That's a choice to be a debt slave. And I'm going to give you an example. Open up your calculator and put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance and hit equal. You see that large negative number? What kind of house could you buy with the amount of money that you see on your calculator in front of you? Then how did you buy the house you're living in today? You didn't. Now, if you look at that large negative number and you still believe you're a homeowner and you still own equity and all that other stuff, when the calculator is clearly telling you you do not, you're making a choice. Okay, you're going against the laws of mathematics, which nobody in the world has ever broken, ever. Nobody in history. Now you're probably saying to yourself, well, all these other people, they do the same thing. Who cares what other debt slaves do? Who cares? Yes, that's true. Millions of people believe they own houses. Millions of people believe they bought houses with mortgages. So what? You know what those people are called? They're called the housing market. Without them, it wouldn't exist. So what? I want everybody to understand and be clear on this. I'm just here to help you participate in capitalism positively, period. I'm not here to disrupt nothing. This, you guys have no idea how lovely it is. It is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. You just got to be on the positive side of it. That's all. It looks pretty ugly when you're on the negative side, but when you're on the positive side, that's a big difference. It's like, oh, it only takes one day to buy a house. Yep, just one day, just a single day. Yep. You mean it takes one day to buy a car and not 84 months? Nope. Just, yep, that's true. You don't take 84 months, just one single day. Yep, sure did. Yep. You mean to tell me if I finance an electric car, I'm really not saving any money? Nope. Not at all. Gas, electricity, whatever you wanna, it doesn't matter how it doesn't matter how a finance car is powered. It doesn't matter at all, because if you finance the car, you're gonna be financing the power to power the car, okay? So, if you decide to finance gas, you finance gas. If you decide to finance electricity, you finance electricity. It doesn't matter. That's it. Then you come over here and you become as wealthy as you wanna be. Let me explain something to you, okay? Warren Buffett will find me. Jeff Bezos will find me. Elon Musk will find me. Do you guys understand that? Now, let me just say it before it happens so you guys don't be all shocked and shit when it does happen. You're going to be like, what? And he'd be like, so you can come back to this video and say, he said that way back at whatever date it happens. Because the time it happens is irrelevant. I'm just telling you it's going to happen. I don't know what day it's going to happen, but it will. How do I know this? Because I know. That's because that's the reason. If you look at this title and was attracted to it, like the reason why I even wrote this title, because I know how a debt slave would read this title, a look of confusion. Why do I have a mortgage if I'm always at work? What kind of, you guys are probably saying to yourself, what kind of question is that? Not even, you guys are just, you don't know the answer. That's called a glitch in the debt matrix. Because you think everybody does that. Yeah, it's true. Everybody and probably in your neighborhood does that. Did you guys know there are neighborhoods that they're filled with people that know that that is not true? Neighborhoods filled with people that know the only way to buy a house is cash. There is no other way to buy a house. Did you know there were such neighborhoods? Probably never. You guys have probably never been in those neighborhoods and never will. You can't tell, because you got to remember, when you're wealthy, you can make money look like anything. You have a choice. Look like a bum on the street. It doesn't matter. You guys, debt slaves, you guys are visual. So we can just make it look like anything. It doesn't say one thing, whatever. You guys don't know. Think about it. You're always at work and you have a mortgage payment. Does that make sense to you? At least you're the person that says, at least I'm not throwing away money on rent. Is that you saying that? Always at work. You're always at work, never living in your financed house, talking about, at least I'm not throwing away money on rent. What are you doing then? What are you doing? Here, let me give you another example. For those of you that believe that you're living the American dream, okay? Open up your calculator and put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance and hit equal. That large negative number says you're dreaming. So, yes, you are living the American dream. So, if you believe you own a house, when the calculator is clearly showing you that you do not, you are living the American dream. Yes, that's true. Now, there's nothing wrong if you choose to live the American dream that way. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm here to help the people that live on the positive side and create a business around people that want to live the American dream. I help you live positively. You come over here, all your stuff's in order. The IRS knows everything you do, everything, all your bank accounts, everything. All the banks know everything's legit, where your money came from, where it's going. One account, only expenses, not lying about my expenses, not pretending I had a dinner and it really wasn't a business dinner. None of that stuff happens on the positive side. I want you guys to clearly understand that. None of that happens over here, okay? That's not allowed, okay? Once it flows, the only way you can legally not pay taxes, all of that must flow. All the participants in the economy must know every single piece of your business. That's the only way that can happen. That's the only way you can legally not pay taxes. Now, debt slaves, you guys can't save any money on taxes because it's 100% impossible for debt slaves to reduce any taxes at all in any form. Retirement, a car, if you buy an electric car, you say all of that is a fantasy to you guys. That's all psychological because you guys save nothing because it's you. See what I'm saying? Adam Mill says, I bought a new car Friday, took about 30 minutes, paid cash for the car and the taxes. Boom, out. You see what I'm saying? I want you guys to, because the majority of you debt slaves, the people that live at work and have a mortgage, the majority of you guys, when you guys go to a car lot, you guys prepare to be there all day. Do you know they own car dealerships only do that to debt slaves? They don't do that with people with cash. Do you think if Adam walked in, right? Adam walked in and said, "Hey, I want to buy a new car," and they said to Adam, "Hey, Mr. Mills, yeah, it's going to take about 6 hours for us to process this paperwork to buy your car." Mr. Mills would have got up and left. You know why? Because people with money we don't do that. It's about time here. And then when you walk in with cash, everybody at the dealerships know that they're not going to make any money off this person. They're not. But they still have to legally sell him a car. They can't just say, "Hey, we're not selling you a car because you're paying cash." That's illegal. You can't do that. Congratulations, Mr. Mills. Debt slaves are tired of that job they don't love just to pay their car lease and finance and payments on the afterpay. Yep. Says mortgage payments, meanwhile, sometimes breaks. They must cover too. Yep. That's double double the rope around that neck. Sure is. Sure is. IRS says, Sam, I am. Please pay your dues to Sam for sure. And you know what's so crazy? I noticed the system is so amazing, right? Because debt slaves are visual. They like to look at they think something that is psychological. They want to know it's a person. That's the best way I can describe it. So, in my opinion, I think that's why they made up this Uncle Sam character, right? So the debt slaves can look at Uncle Sam and think and truly believe Uncle Sam and call him Uncle Sam too. Whatever. Give him what? I'm saying it and they call it a name and a person. So they can look at, hey, Uncle Sam is going to come after you, not even realizing, when you understand, you don't know. If I turn to a debt slave and say, why are you calling taxes Uncle Sam? They don't know how to respond to that because they don't know that they're calling a psychological thing a name. But that's all part of the business. That's just how it works. I don't. It's brilliant to me. I don't. It's absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But when you understand how it works, taxes are the backbone of the whole thing. You understand why the penalty is so severe for tax evasion. You kind of get it, right? But anyway, yeah, you know what I'm gonna start doing, QJC? I'm gonna start putting up the psychological titles because I think the psychological titles will confuse millions of debt slaves when they see that title. That's what I want you guys to SMD family. I'm talking to you because you guys are the only one that can hear me. I'm gonna start putting up psychological titles that will cause confusion to debt slaves when they read them. Because you look at this title right now, they have no idea what that means. That is like, what? They're asking their friend. Listen, they're going around asking their friends with mortgages, do you know what this title means? What does that mean? They're all going to be confused. They're going to be like, what? I don't know, which is going to force them to tune in because they're going to want to know the answer because they don't know the answer. Debt slaves don't know the answer to this question at all. I want the S&B family members to understand. I want you guys to see how I'm working, okay? I'm going to be going more on the I'm going to be mixing the psychological with their perspective and make them get more and more confused at the question. Now, you're probably thinking, Linnell, well, you're saying it out loud. They can't hear or know what I'm saying. They don't know what I'm saying. Okay? They probably calling me crazy. Oh, listen, S&D family members. Even though I'm proving everything I'm saying with mathematically to be true, they're gonna call me crazy. Who he think he is? He's old. What? He doesn't have a finance degree. They're gonna go through the whole slave explaining. They're gonna be trying to look for a reason when I'm just using the basic calculator. Nothing, and I'm proving it. They're still not gonna believe it. I want you guys to see how it works. I'm invisible, okay? I'm not physically, psychologically. Now, if I go out in public and I don't say any of this SMD stuff, they don't know. They don't know that I know. Of course not. Nor would I say it out in public because debt slaves will get all angry and stuff. You don't want that. Because you start telling the truth, you're trying to shatter their world. They don't want that. No, they can't have that. Why do you have a mortgage? This is what I want you guys to do. If you guys want to see a glitch in the debt matrix, go up to a debt slave and say just like that. Why do you have a mortgage if you're always at work? And then look at their face. It's going to be real quick. You got to remember, it's going to be real quick. You got to be ready because they're going to be stunned for two reasons. No one has ever look at the title of this video. No one has ever told a person with a mortgage, or excuse me, has ever asked a person with a mortgage that works a lot this question. Number two, they're not going to have the answer. So they might be paused. They might be stuck for like a whole second because I just gave you two reasons why they're going to get stuck. They're going to be like, what kind of question is that? And then they're not going to have the answer. They're going to take a second and then they're going to snap out of it. And then they're going to come up with all these reasons to why you're supposed to do this and that and get a mortgage and this percentage rate. And that's called slave explaining. Anything outside the laws of mathematics is called slave explaining. They don't know what they're saying. They don't know anything. They don't know everything they're saying doesn't make any mathematical sense. They don't know that. So you just listen. You just go, oh, really? Oh, the bank said what? They told you. Because you got to remember, this is what debt slaves do. This is a dead giveaway for a debt slave. Debt slaves always talk about their money in the future. What's going to happen with their stocks? What's going to happen with their stocks at work when they mature after 5 years? Everything's in the future. And the reason why they do that, because they have no money in the present. That's why they always do that. All retirement, when they have money by the age of this, everything's in the future because they absolutely do not know they have no money today. That's why they always talk like that. But they don't know that they talk like that. They don't know that they talk in the future tense. Always about their money is in the future tense. Always. They don't know there are people like me and the S&B family that walk around people that listen to them talk about taking a second mortgage out. Like, here's another example. If you have a second mortgage on your house, by default, that says you don't know why you needed the first. Okay, I'm gonna say that one more time. If you have because a lot of you debt slaves thinking having two mortgages on one house is normal. That's only normal for debt slaves, okay? If you have a second mortgage on your house, by default, it says you don't know why you needed the first. So if you're a person that goes to work talking about you took out a second mortgage to do whatever you're talking about, You're openly telling people that may know at work, because I'm not saying that people with SMD knowledge don't have jobs. I'm saying the people with SMD knowledge that have jobs, they know a job is a tool, nothing more. It's not a life journey. Can't wait for retirement. How much they're there to make money, to escape. They're not there to be friends, talk about how much you're gonna have in retirement, what you guys gonna do, and they're there to make a job is a tool. They're there to make money, do their job well, make their money, and get out. Because let me explain something to you so you guys understand. Okay, when you have SMD knowledge and you have a job, what you guys don't know as people in debt to have jobs, the employer treats the person with no debt differently than they treat you, because this employer knows this employee also knows. The employee that has no debt, they don't work for free, they don't work through lunch, they don't take work home, not get paid, expected to do things after hours without getting paid. That wasn't part of the original agreement. People that have jobs and no debt, they don't do any of that. Because when you work for free, you are literally saying you're a slave. Literally. Work with no pay, you're literally a slave. So if you work through lunch and they don't pay you, you're a debt slave. That only debt slaves do that. Are you at home more than you're at work more than you're at home, and you have a mortgage? You're a debt slave. That's why you do that. That doesn't make any sense. You mortgage a house that you don't live in. That makes no sense at all. None. And then walk around, call yourself a homeowner. Would After refinancing it 3 or 4 times with 2 mortgages on it, makes absolutely, and still believe you have equity. Isn't that bananas? Is that you? 2 mortgages, HELOC, and still calling yourself a homeowner with equity. Does that make any sense? Not at all. Why do you listen? When a house gains in value, why do you think the bank reaches out? You guys don't even know. They already know who to reach out to. The people that are behind on their car payments, or their car payments, which the bank owns, your mortgage payments, which the bank owns. So they know. They're like, hey, if that house has equity, they reach out to you and say, hey, your house went up in equity. You want to pull out and refinance? Of course you're going to take it. And guess what? You're going to use the money that you pulled out of the house with to make the payments that you're behind on. That's like that's like putting one of you debt slaves in a microwave and just pushing some time button, beep 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 beep, and just wait for the ding, and then you're done. Soon as that ding goes off, you probably kicked out of the house, and they bring in the next debt slave. Congratulations, banks. That's got to be listen. That's got to be absolutely beautiful for the bank to own all those houses, and you guys are paying for them and not even living in them. You guys are at work more than you at home. Of course you don't know, you don't understand the title of this video. Listen, I'm gonna keep repeating this too. If you are a professional, business or personal, it doesn't matter, and you don't know capitalism is psychological, positive and negative, and you want to be the best in the game or whatever you do, come see me. And you will be the best in the United States of America if that's where you want to stop. Listen, all capitalist systems will welcome you because you're going to be participating positively in them all. Of course they're going to welcome you. It doesn't matter the country. If Are they capitalists? Yeah, that's all you need to know. It doesn't matter. Here, let me give you an example. Say like I decided I'm going to move to Australia, which is capitalist. Now, of course, their structure and everything is different. I don't know. Listen, I don't know anything about the Australian structured capitalist system. So you're probably thinking, well, LJ, how are you going to know? All I need to know is that regardless of how it's structured, I know the majority are debt slaves, finance, houses, cars, whatever. It's the same. They got some kind of credit system that keeps track of their debt, something they probably call it different, doesn't matter. The system designed to keep track of everybody's debt. Okay, it's there. I would go over to Australia. They got taxes. I'm sure they have a tax system there. Of course, right? It's the same thing. I would go and find the tax professional in Australia who is personally debt free, that has no debt. If I wanted to start a business, I'll go find a business professional that knows how to do all the licensing and structure that Australia law requires to start a business there. That person will be personally debt free too, because they'll know exactly how I want it structured in Australia. I don't have to know anything about it. The only thing I need to know is that it's capitalist. That's all I need to know. I can go to a country that doesn't even speak English. I would have to find a translator, but if it's capitalist, don't care. I find somebody to translate and say, hey, what is your credit system? How they keep track of all the debt and blah, blah, blah. That's all. And then find all the people who are personally debt free. Never be impressed by stuff. People have 90% of 90% of it is bank owned. If it wasn't for the bank, they wouldn't have it for sure. They don't even know that. See how you're talking, QJC? Their slaves don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? Yes, I do. I own it. I've been owning it for 15 years. Okay, whatever. Rocket Money will show you the real net worth. Okay, Rocket Money will show your real net worth. I'm not sure. What does that mean, Mel Woods? What do you mean Rocket Money will do that? You come into this video, did the title catch you? Are you a person with a mortgage that's always at work? And you see the title, did it confuse you? If this title confused you, it was for you. Let me say that one more time. If this title confused you, it was for you. Because I wrote it, so I know what it means. So it wouldn't confuse me. I'm like, oh yeah, of course, because you can't buy a house with a mortgage, you know, because they're always at work. See, I would know. But if it confused you, it's for you. Now you have to come and click and watch the video. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to only put psychological titles from this point on. I'm going to put psychological titles only. Titles that you guys have never listened. And I want the SMD family to watch. Titles that you guys have never, ever, ever seen in your life before till here, till now, ever. I got 1 million of them. That's what's going to hook you. I don't care if you, hey, listen, I don't even care if you come over here, emotions, angry at me. Hey, as long as you come over here, I don't care. Because you're not fighting against me, you're fighting against math. I don't care how you, listen, debt slaves. I don't care how you feel about math. That's irrelevant to me. Totally irrelevant. You see this, do you see the picture in the middle? That's what I feel like. When you guys start talking to me, I just put this, it's like an armor shield that I have on that you guys don't even know I'm wearing. Because if you saw that and you were talking to me, you probably wouldn't be talking to me like that. But that's how I imagine myself when you guys are talking. But you guys can't see it. Because I know nobody in the history of humans have ever broken the laws of mathematics, ever. No human at all. You know, when guys come over here, I saw a couple guys saying, hey, there goes the calculator guy. You know what I think to myself? That person thinks I invented the calculator. Ain't that crazy? There's the calculator guy. God, you really believe I invented the calculator? Holy crap. That is, hey man, I'll take that as a compliment. Whenever, you know, because you know how many people are going to be saying that. I'm going to say, thank you. Thank you for calling me that. I'm going to just say, yeah, you're right. I did invent the calculator. I'm going to just flow with it. I'm going to flow with it. Yeah, you're right. I invented the calculator. Sure did. Yeah. I did. Rocket Money is an app. Okay, that shows all your savings. Oh, 401k, debt, student loans. They show where you are in life. Either it's positive or net. Wow. Why would Rocket Mortgage? They probably, when I see stuff like that, Rocket Mortgage is probably required to do that because yeah, they're probably required to do that because I don't see them doing that on, because you don't really want to tell debt slaves they don't really own nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because that could wake up a debt slave. But then again, debt slaves really believe that 401k money is theirs. Like when I was a debt slave, this is what's crazy. I remember when I was a debt slave and I had money in retirement, right? Hold on, this might get kind of noise in the background because I got to turn on this AC. And I would look at my 401k and it'd be like, hey, they would always use time, get behind, you better hurry up, you're behind on age, and then they would send you these notices, hey, this is how much you got. And then when a hiccup happened in the economy, the news would come on, hey, retirement plans are losing money. And then I thought to myself, even when I was a debt slave, that didn't make sense to me, right? I was like, then that means if you were giving me all these notices that my money is at this much, and then there's a hiccup in the economy and it loses, all those notices are really not true. No, they're not true. That's why your money's moving up and down like that, because it's not your money. Until you pay taxes on that money, that's when it's your money. Okay. Because I guarantee you this, if you had $100,000 in the bank, right? And then something happened in the economy, you still gonna have $100,000 in the bank. Why? Because you pay taxes on that money. That's why it's there. It's yours. The IRS, all the players have got their share of the $100,000, so that the rest is yours. Everybody, listen, if you got $100,000 cash in the bank, all the players in the economy know how you got it. That's how it is, because you got to remember, Millwoods, you got to remember, when you see big companies start showing debt slave stuff like that's going to discourage them, because a debt slave might see that and be like, whoa, I was going to buy a house, but now I realize I was in debt. So the government must be requiring them to do that, because it just doesn't make any sense, right? And then if they're required, I guess they might as well make it look like they're really on their side, because you got to remember, companies, of course, their business is to sell mortgages, because their business is to sell mortgages to people that believe they can buy houses with them. Okay, that's the business. I know I can't buy a house with a mortgage, but millions of people don't know that. They don't know they're financing a house. They're not buying anything. Here, let's put it this way. First, there are the people. It doesn't even matter your credit score or whatever, right? First, there are the people that believe they can buy houses with mortgages. Those are the prime people. Those are usually professionals, business owners, doctors, lawyers, people that seem smart. They're probably the prime mortgage holders. And then there's the subprime people that really, really, like the prime mortgage, they don't know. That's why they have a mortgage, but they're the prime people because they make more money and they got better, whatever, right? And then there's the subprime people. Those are the people that really, really don't know you can't buy a house with a mortgage. People that believe they can buy a house for 3.5% of the purchase price. Those are people that really, really don't know that you can't buy a house with a mortgage. No money down. Hey, I bought this house with no money down. Only a debt slave would say that out loud. You bought a house with no money? Yeah, and you believe it. Yeah, I'm a homeowner. Okay, whatever. Only debt slaves say things like that publicly. And if you go to any YouTube channel, just type in VA mortgages. There are thousands of videos of people telling you how you can buy a house with no money with a VA mortgage. Thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people. Now, if you believe it, that's your problem. That's just called business. If you believe you can buy a house with no money, that's your problem. I have a friend who already has a stressful life, okay, and he just recently, I'm added some recently financed a home. His life is about to get much more stressful. Yes, it is. And what's so crazy, Owen? You can't even say nothing to him, and you care about you. That's like I don't want to call it a curse, but it's a bad thing when you see your friends that you care about and they're debt slaves and they keep on digging, and you can't say nothing. You can't, if you want to remain in their lives as their friend, you have to just be quiet and watch. You know what's so crazy? I got to share this with you guys. I had a friend, a longtime friend. Me and him been friends since teenagers, okay? And we're 50. We're in our 50s now. We recently had a talk about our lives as young men. And back then I was doing all the finance and stuff, right? And he was talking like, wow, why is why is he financing all that stuff? That's the reason why he's working so many hours? But he didn't tell me that he was saying that, because he was a friend that didn't do all that. He didn't do the finance thing, he didn't do the credit card things. And since we thought we were coming up by getting all of this stuff, we were thinking he was the guy that was not successful because he wasn't following the credit rules. And we just recently had this talk while I was here in Seattle. He knew this information back then, but he didn't know it was psychological capitalism. And it's just amazing to have heard him talk like that. I was blown away. He's like, Linnell, man, I hear you talking the way you talk like now. I'm like, wow. He said, but I knew what you were talking about way back when we was teenagers and young adults. I was like, what? And then he started mentioning some things I was doing back there, financing rims and cars. Yeah, I was financing rims too. Sure was. Credit cards, all that. And he was like, he said he was saying to himself, why is he doing that? Why is he? That's why he's working so many hours. And that's exactly what I was doing. But back then I was thinking working a lot of hours is going to get me to climb up the ladder and get more money, and all that facade. All of it is a facade. It's crazy because once I broke out of the 40, put it this way, once I broke out of the 40-hour work week program and came to the positive side, and then I turn around and look at wages, hourly wages. This is all I want you guys to realize, okay? Compare your salary to how much Apple is making, okay? Compare your salary to how much Tesla is making. Compare your hourly wage to how much Amazon is making. That's how I look at everything now. When I was making $160,000 a year salary, I thought that was a lot of money. You know why I thought that was a lot of money? Because all the debt slaves think 6 figures is a lot of money. Once you start putting a limit on any amount, it doesn't, once I get to $1 million, stop putting limits. It's unlimited. You can make as much money as you wish. You can go through hundreds of thousands of YouTube videos. They all say, hey, you better find you a 6-figure man. You got a 6-figure woman. You better why are they limiting themselves? Because they're debt slaves. That's why. They think 6 figures is a lot of money. That's why they keep saying it. When you hear somebody say 6 figures is a lot of money, you say to yourself, according to who? Do you think Jeff Bezos thinks 6 figures is a lot of money? What about Elon Musk? Do you think Elon Musk thinks 6 figures is a lot of money? Then no, the person saying it thinks 6 figures is a lot of money. Always remember that. When somebody says, oh, bragging about they make 6 figures, it's because they believe 6 figures is a lot of money. They don't know there are people around them that have more than that. They just don't announce it. Exactly. They won't listen. What's up, Willie? You can't. If you want, hey, listen, you already know the rules, Owen. If you want that friend to stay in your life, you better keep your mask up. You better stop pulling it down. Never get a mortgage 3 times your salary. Simple as that. No, never get a mortgage, period. Well, no, let me not say that. I'm not against mortgages. Okay, I'm not against mortgages. I just want everybody to understand a mortgage cannot buy a house. Let me say that one more time. A mortgage cannot buy a house. It can only finance one. Okay, so it really doesn't matter 3x, 4x, 5x, everything, tinfoil hat, everything. It's like debt slaves don't know. Like, here, let me give you an example, debt slave, okay? If if you didn't have a car payment, would you really worry about gas prices anymore? Would you really care? Would you be like, "Ooh, gas is high," if you didn't have a car payment? You still imagine you're still driving the car you're driving today, whatever that is, right? Whatever it is, but you don't have a car payment. Would you care about gas prices? Now, on top of that, what if you didn't have a mortgage? What if you lived in a nice house, a beautiful home, beautiful, and you didn't have a mortgage? Would you care about gas prices then? You probably really wouldn't care about gas prices. That's what it's like to live on the positive side of the economy. You don't really care. Because when you hear somebody say, man, gas prices are really, really high. Oh my God, gas is so expensive. You turn to them and say, do you have car payments? If they say yes, that's why gas prices are high. They have car payments. If they didn't have car payments, gas prices wouldn't be high. Apple is over 1 trillion. So compare your hourly salary to how much Apple is making. When you come to the positive side, that's how you're going to look at a salary. Because that's how I look at it. And then when you got people fighting over these low hourly wages, hey, if you want to do that, go ahead. And that's a choice. And listen, Sherrigan, I'm not saying nothing's wrong with you thinking 6 figures is a lot. You just think it's a lot. There's nothing wrong with it. A lot of millions of people think 6 figures is a lot. Millions of people. So, and none of them are wrong either. That's just a perspective they just choosing to live in. There's nothing wrong with that. They say things like high value man. Now they're saying 6 figures is not enough. They probably are. The majority of people that tell you 6 figures is what you need to make or whatever, they usually don't be making 6 figures. This is how here, let me give you guys, debt slaves, let me give you guys I'm gonna give you guys some ammo to figure out if somebody is really making what they're making. Okay, so say like somebody's telling you that they are making 6 figures. Let's just go with 6 figures, because you guys think 6 figures could be anything. Now 6 figures is a really big range, but since you guys think it is a lot, it's a lot. Okay, you ask that person, do you have student loan debt? If they say yes, they're not making that much money, because if they're making 6 figures, they wouldn't have student loan debt. If they're talking about they're making 6 figures, you say, are you making car payments? If they say yes, they're not making the money you're making, because people that make 6 figures the real 6 figures are not making car payments. Okay, I'm not saying people that make 6 figures are not making car payments, because the majority of people that make 6 figures are making car payments. I'm talking about the people that make 6 figures with no debt. That's a big difference. Okay, here, let me give you another example. People that make 6 figures that are deep in debt, guess what? I'm gonna give you something that they don't know. They cannot reduce their tax bracket. Whatever listen, a person that makes 6 figures in personal debt, they cannot it's 100%. Let me say this correctly. It's 100% mathematically impossible for a person who making 6 figures in debt to reduce themselves in their personal tax bracket. 100% impossible. 100. Mathematically impossible. It's true. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. It's true. A person making six figures with no debt, they know that. How do you find a person at work? I'm going to give you, here's another hint. How do you find the person at your job making six figures that probably has no debt? They're probably fully funding their 401k. And when I say fully funding, say like whatever it is right now, 22,500. You ask each person, hey, are you fully funding your 401k of 22,500? Whatever, I mean, you're going to have to know this person personally, be asking even those kind of questions. But if you find a person at work that is fully funding their 401k of 22,500, they probably have no debt. Now, good luck even asking that question, because you got to get around when you say to the average debt slave, are you fully funding your 401k? They're going to think you're talking about the match. A debt slave, let me tell you guys something. A debt slave has never, ever, ever fully funded a 401k of 22,000 or whatever the max is, whatever year it is, never. Debt slaves believe they're matching something. They're matching nothing but themselves. Lee Bike says you don't have much of a choice. You either finance a mortgage or rent. Very few people can pay cash for a house. An average house costs at least $150,000. All right, let's go through your statement, okay, Lee? All right, and this is nothing to make you feel dumb, because it's a perspective. It has nothing to do with your your smarts of school and all that stupid stuff, right? This is just a perspective. All right. You don't have much of a choice. First of all, if you say it, I guess you don't. You always have a choice. But if you're saying it out loud, you're only telling yourself that you don't have a choice but I'm here to tell you that you do. All right. All right. You either finance a mortgage or rent. All right. Those are choices. Rent, you're comparing rent to a mortgage. Rent is an expense. Okay. Rent is an expense. You're comparing the two because you think they are the same. Mortgage is debt. If you think you're saying you're even bringing up mortgage because you believe you can buy a house with a mortgage, which you cannot. You can finance a house with a mortgage, but you cannot buy a house with a mortgage. So instead of you paying the landlord with rent, you're paying directly to the bank. Payments go to the owner. If you are making payments on anything, that is a red flag that you don't own it, because owners like myself don't have payments because we are owners. If I had payments, that would mean I'm not an owner. Yep, six figures is not enough for anyone in debt. Sure wasn't. Sure not. Doctors, lawyers, so crazy. You guys that didn't go to college, didn't get a degree, probably feel bad about around these doctors and lawyers. Oh my God, I missed out. Trust me, the majority of those doctors and lawyers they really wish they made the same decision as you. They're in hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt. Now, I know it don't look like it. Some of them probably make you even feel bad about, you didn't go to college, you're beneath me. No, all you got to do is turn to them and say, you got student loan debt? If they say yes, guess what? They're financially beneath you. Did you know that? If you go to one of your friends that, hey, maybe they subconsciously, not subconsciously, put you down because you didn't go to college. They always say little things here and there, make you feel bad. All you got to do is turn to them and say, do you got student loan debt? If they say yes, guess what? They're financially beneath you. And they're owned by the government. Owned. They don't even own themselves. The government owns them. They're just a debt slave who's a lawyer, a debt slave who's a doctor. That's it. Don't let them make you feel bad. Please don't. Debt enslaves a person. I don't care how much you make. Sure, though. Debt is the colorblind slave master, baby. Believe that. You can save whatever you want. Sure can. Doesn't matter. You must be creative to save money to buy what you want. When you decide what you want, it will find a way. Sure will. So the only real reason to go to college is if you have a full scholarship and no student loan debt. Now, let me make sure I'm clear. I am not against student loan debt. Okay, I'm not. I'm not against student loan debt. Because the only way you're going to become a lawyer is you got to go to college. The only way you're going to become a doctor, you got to go to college. There is no way I would not want to have a doctor that didn't go to school or a lawyer that didn't go to school. But when you're finished with school, however long, this is the rule I always say to myself. However long you went to school is how long you give yourself to pay that money back. So if you went to school for 4 years, you give yourself a maximum of 4 years to pay that money back. If you went to school for 8 years, you give yourself, but usually if you went to school for 8 to 12 years, you don't have to wait that long because obviously you're becoming a doctor or something else of a higher thing, which you could probably pay your student loans back in 2 years. All I'm saying is that you get student loan debt, you pay it back. Warren Buffett stated, if, and am I paraphrasing, he knew what he knew today, he would have rented. He realized a house is not an investment. The money paid for the house, he could have put it. Okay, now you have to go by actions. He still stays in this paid off house his entire life. Does that sound like somebody that made a mistake? You got to be careful of people. That doesn't even sound like something he would say, because put it this way, I'm going to say it a different way, El Selector, okay? If you paid your house off, the mortgage payments now stay in your bank account for the rest of your life. I'm going to say it one more time. If you paid your house off, the mortgage payments that you pay today will now stay in your bank account for the rest of your life. Does that sound like a mistake? You will have just eliminated, listen, you will have just eliminated your largest monthly expense for the rest of your life, which is what he's doing right now. He's eliminated it. While millions of people, let's say it a different way, I'm going to come at another angle. While millions of people believe rent/mortgage is normal, like you just have it, you won't. Does that sound like a mistake? There is nothing wrong with financing a mortgage. You have to start somewhere. You can eventually pay that mortgage off. You're going to always pay rent if you choose to be a renter. There is nothing wrong with financing a mortgage. That's your belief. That's what, Lee, let me tell you something, Lee Bike. If you believe that, there's nothing wrong with you believing that there's nothing wrong with financing a mortgage, whatever you called it, right? You have to start somewhere. If you believe that's where you start, that's just where you believe, okay? There's nothing, and there's nothing wrong with you believing that, Mike, or Bike, Mr. Bike. You can eventually pay that mortgage off. You're going to always pay rent if you choose to be a renter. All of that is a belief. There are trillions, listen, there are trillions of dollars in mortgage loan debt. That means people are not paying off the mortgage like you believe they are. If people were paying off their mortgages, we wouldn't have trillions of dollars in mortgage loan debt. How do I know this? Because homeowners don't have mortgages. You see the difference? So those statements are millions of people that believe what you believe. You guys are called the housing market. Without you believing that you could buy a house with a mortgage, if you guys knew, listen, if you guys knew that you couldn't buy a house with a mortgage, the housing market wouldn't exist. So you guys have to believe. You have to start somewhere. Not everybody can buy it in cash. Whatever you guys believe, it really doesn't matter. But as long as you believe it, hey, you're just part of the housing market. So what I do is I help realtors come to the positive side of the economy and sell houses to you that believe you can buy houses with mortgages, that believe you have to start somewhere, believe you have to pay instead of paying rent, or whatever you guys believe, and then they sell those houses to you. Car loans are over trillions a day. All of them. Debt slaves have absolutely no money. None. Zero. What's up, Alonzo? If debt slaves knew they couldn't buy a car with a car loan, CarMax wouldn't be as big as they are. Do you guys understand CarMax wouldn't exist if there wasn't for debt slaves? How do I know this? Because I don't go to CarMax and buy cars. That's how I know that. I mean, I don't go to CarMax and finance cars. That's how I know that. That's called business. CarMax exists because people finance cars. And they're obviously really good at selling cars to debt slaves. Obviously. Nothing's wrong with them. Nothing's wrong with CarMax. I'm not saying anything negative about them. They're making billions of dollars. Who am I to say anything? Who cares what I'm saying? I paid my 30-year mortgage off in 14 years. I would still be paying rent forever if I hadn't chose to finance a mortgage. Okay. I mean, if you believe you would have been paying rent forever, again, that's a belief, Mr. Bike. That's a belief. Millions of debt slaves say that kind of stuff. You guys all say that. It only listen to me closely, Lee Bike. It only takes one day to buy a house. So if you are proud that you did it in 14 years, that's just something that you're proud of. I mean, I'm not saying that you're bad for paying it off early. I'm just saying if you're proud that it took you 14 years to pay it off, that's great. But it only takes one day to buy a house. It doesn't take 14 years. And when I say that, debt slaves have no idea what I'm saying. They don't know it takes one day to buy a house. If they knew that, the housing market wouldn't exist. I don't want that. When you talk, Lee, you don't, and I hope you don't take this negative. I really hope you don't. But you don't know that you're talking like a debt slave. Now, I'm happy that you own your house. Don't get me wrong. I want you to understand that millions of people do not own them house. They all think they're a homeowner like you. You need to understand the position that you are in by owning your house. The position that you're in. You are different than millions of people. Millions. While they all believe they're homeowners paying mortgages, you're a homeowner that know you're a homeowner because you don't have a mortgage. They don't know that. They don't know they're like you, Lee. They have no idea. You need to understand the power in that. I'm going to invite some people in that may have some questions. Saw the title, came over here and like, what the hell is he talking about? Not everybody has the money to buy a house in cash. Start running the slave-splaining script. There are people that could buy houses in cash, multiple houses in cash if they chose. Those people do exist, okay? They're not rich either, but it counts on your definition of rich. You might see somebody with a brand new Land Rover and you might say they're rich. Ooh, they're rich, not knowing that they're making car payments. Can you believe there's car payments over $1,000? Debt slaves are paying over $1,000. Imagine a debt slave financing a Hellcat, finance the tires on the Hellcat, the tires and rims, and then listen, and then go out and burn rubber on finance tires in a finance car. doing donuts, getting tickets. You know what I would do? Invest in tires. Invest in tires for it's specially designed for Hellcats. What's up, El Selector?
Yeah, what's going on? How you doing?
Doing good.
Yeah, I'm just here, just listening to you and whatnot. Yeah, I just wanted to point that out, like that article there, where Warren Buffett was speaking about it. It kind of like resonated what you were saying. Like he stated that if he knew what he knew today, he would have actually went out there and rented instead of actually going out there and purchasing a house. So that's what I was
Right.
just trying to point out. He was talking about how he like, well, obviously he's a master investor, or at least a pretty good investor at that, right? So
It
he's
looks
like,
like that. It looks like that, yes.
yeah, it looks like that exactly.
Mhm.
But he's stating that, listen, he's stating out of his own mouth, like, listen, a lot of people nowadays need to realize that your house, your primary residence, is not an investment. You guys got to look at other ways of going out there and actually making money. Some people purchase a house with a mortgage, a 30-year.
He's when he talks like that, he's referring to people with mortgages, not with people with
Yeah.
cash.
No, you're 100% right. Yeah, but
Yeah,
he is referring to those with mortgages. But for those who, some people, it's like you'll hear people saying, "Oh yeah, go and buy a house and create generational wealth. Go get a
right,
mortgage and create generational wealth." Like you'll get these realtors and all these guys with seminars and whatnot, and like,
right.
"Oh yeah," but they're
And
not
that's all
telling you
business.
that
Right. It's
you're
all
like
business.
literally, or you're gonna be in like whatever dollars in debt. This is basically
Mhm.
a an expense. Yeah,
Well,
yeah. You
it
were saying
counts
it's all
on who you're
business,
talking
correct?
to. Okay, that's what it really boils down. It counts
Yeah.
on yeah, it counts on who you're talking to. Like when okay, when people every time somebody comes up and talks to me, they always ask me the same question. Well, do you rent, LJ? And I say yes, and then they go, "Oh, he's throwing away money and this and that, and he's giving away money and he's a slave." And they don't know to ask the right question. They don't know to say, "LJ, do you own the building that you're renting from, or do you own the house that you're renting from?" They don't know to ask that question. You know what I'm saying? Do you understand what I mean when I say that? Oh, L selected. Did I lose you?
Yeah. Nah, exactly. I see exactly what you're saying. No, I'm here. I'm here. Do you hear me?
Yeah, they
Do you
don't
hear
know to
me?
ask that question. Yeah, now I can. It must be late.
Understandable. No, you're 100% right. Like, honestly. Yeah, I think I am late. I'm going to get out of here. Hold up. Get out of here and reboot it.
Yeah, people. This is the L selector. This is the real thing. Okay, you guys got to understand that debt slaves don't know the difference between business debt and personal debt. They don't really know that. So when you hear a person like Warren Buffett say, "Hey, a house is not really investment," he's talking about people with mortgages. You're making mortgage payments. No, it's not an investment at all. That's debt, period. But if you got the money to buy cash for a house, of course it makes sense to own where you live because you don't spend no money. All you're doing is paying for the basics, utilities, lights, water, which is when you have no debt and no mortgage, utilities and lights, that's nothing. Okay, it doesn't even that price is nothing. Gasoline, stuff like that, nothing. Think about it. I want you really to think about it. If you didn't have no mortgage payment and you don't have no car payment, would you really care about the price of gas? You know, when you go grocery shopping, you probably wouldn't even pay attention to the prices. You would just get what you want. You wouldn't have to make a choice like, "Oh, I really want that, but I have to buy this lower." No, you just get it. Oh, hey, listen, those Tesla payments are over 1,000. Believe that. Those are over 1,000. When you see those really nice cars, those payments are over 1,000 people. Over 1,000. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, Willie. Finance tires, burning rubber on finance tires. Sure is. That's why I bring a person to the positive side. I'm like, hey, you got the money to start a tire company, specially designed for Hellcats. Any fast cars that like burning rubber, you start investing in those tires companies that specially make the tires for Hellcats. Because hey, listen, you guys think if they making car payments on the Hellcat, you think they're paying cash for the tires? Hell no, they're not. They're financing those tires. Believe that. And they're burning rubber. Debt slaves. Oh my goodness. Most people don't have the discipline it takes to save up the money and pay for a home in cash. Getting a mortgage and paying high interest rate isn't the way to go. Sure isn't at all. I was able to pay off my mortgage. Congratulations. Anybody that comes in here and says they pay off their mortgage, you got my congratulations. Believe that. I don't care how long it took you. Congratulations. I was able to pay off my mortgage in less than 5 years and paid around $14,000. Damn. And still paid $14,000 in interest that I hated paying. If I could do it again, I would have saved up and paid cash. Yeah. But for somebody to pay off a house, hey man, congratulations, because that takes discipline. That takes very good discipline. Very good discipline. LJ, how do you feel about 401k loans? It's like you are your own debts. No, 401ks, if you're like, to me, 401ks making six figures help me drop myself in my tax bracket. So they got a purpose. They really do have a good purpose, but you got to be making a lot of money. You got to be in the six-figure range, right? You got to be in the six-figure range to make when I say six-figure range, I'm talking about fully funding a 401k, right? That will help you. That helped me reduce myself in my tax bracket, in my personal tax bracket. And you got to remember this. When you are in debt, but you making six figures and you're in debt, you cannot afford to fully fund the 401k to reduce yourself in your tax bracket. You can't even do it. So a lot of six-figure earners they cannot afford to do that. They cannot afford $22,500 to go into out of their paychecks to go into a 401k to get that reduction at all. You are exactly right, Lee. Exactly right. Make sure you recognize, Lee, you are different than millions of people. Millions. Lonzo says, doesn't a 30-year mortgage equal about the triple the price? Example, you buy the house for $250,000, but after you pay 30 years of interest. Yeah, but you got to think about it, Alonzo. How many people really make it to 30 years? Not many. So that's why mortgages are front loaded, because the bank already knows a debt slave is probably going to last and it counts on what type of mortgage you have. If you come in with a subprime mortgage, you're probably not going to make it 5 years. Okay, let's just be honest. You're not going to make it 5 years. The bank knows that. They probably front load mortgages to the hilt on second mortgages, because only people that don't know get subprime mortgages. You guys really don't know. So you probably be in that house 5 years or less. If you're a prime lender, a prime mortgage person, you probably know a little. You obviously know a little bit more than the subprime mortgages, but still, they're gonna be front loaded, because they probably say, okay, this person probably being here about 15 years, maybe. They're not gonna go all the way to the 30. You guys will probably refinance the house several times within that time span, because even though a person is in a house for an umpteen amount of years, you don't know how many times they refinance that mortgage within that time span. All of that is key. All of it. Make sure you get a fixed mortgage if you decide to finance. Sure better. They get hit with the PMI. Yeah, debt slaves are the only people that get PMI, because they really don't know. They just make you guys pay, debt slaves. PMI, that's a tax for debt slaves. They're like, okay, we're gonna, you don't have any money you don't even have 20% to put down on a house. So you are a really big risk, because we're gonna make you pay. We're gonna front load your mortgage so you can pay all the interest and fees right up front. You guys, yeah. You back, sir?
Yeah, I'm back. I apologize. Yeah, I was
All right.
too much stuff on my computer. I had to restart that. But yeah, definitely. But yeah, definitely. Like honestly, yeah, you're hitting on a lot of key points there. Like everything what you're stating, I agree with you on that 100%. Like you are right. There are people that actually, because I've known of people in like the past, people who work in in the finance sector, like bankers, like investment bankers and whatnot. And a lot of these guys, yeah, they tell me all the time, they're like, they don't even look at a house as like, if they want to buy a house today, they can go buy a house today, but a house is not really their priority. A lot of them too, they rent because they're just like, they don't even care. They're just like, okay, I make more than
Correct.
enough money. I can buy a house tomorrow. to. But the reality is they're
Correct.
just like, I'm trying to build my building my business
When you have
or
money,
building the
when you
firm
have
that I'm.
money, you a house is not necessary. That's a thing that that the system has made debt slaves believe. Okay, that's just the way it is. But when you have money, you don't need a house. Renting is fine. You don't really care that people say, "Oh, you're a renter. You're throwing away." They don't know what they're talking about. It really doesn't matter.
Exactly.
So you do,
Yeah,
Elsa, like
exactly.
you do know
100%.
I'm
Like,
disagreeing with mathematics, right?
no, I agree with you 100%. Like you're speaking spot on. Like everything you're saying, you're speaking on a level that the average person doesn't hear or they don't understand. They don't understand those concepts. But for
No,
those
hey,
with
Elsa, like,
actual
no,
wealth,
I'm asking you a question. I'm asking you a question.
yeah, sorry.
Do you know I'm simply agreeing with basic arithmetic?
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
You're right. You
All right.
once stated, I recall you stating people forget that negative is a number. So
Yeah,
after
because I don't
zero,
want you.
there's
I don't want
minus
you thinking
one.
I know. I don't want you thinking I know something more than you. I'm just this profound wisdom. All I'm saying is that I just agree with the calculator. That's it.
Mhm. Which is understandable. No,
Yeah.
100%. I understand what you're saying. You're
Okay.
100% right. The math adds up and it doesn't lie. So that's just
Correct.
what it is.
Correct. And nobody in the history of human beings on Earth have ever broken the laws of mathematics.
You're 100% right. And also too, like, people need to realize this isn't like some new concept that you're coming up with. Like this has been around since the beginning of time. It's just sometimes with society today, they like to throw away the old principles and try to reinvent things that are don't mathematically don't make sense.
Yeah, if you catch somebody throwing away mathematics, that means they have a psychological problem because nobody can do that.
100%. No,
It
you're
doesn't matter your
100% right. Like,
age. It doesn't matter how old. It doesn't matter. I'm 53. 1+1=2, no matter who says it.
yeah, exactly. 100%. I agree with you 100% on that. And it's
Mhm.
the truth. And that's the reality of things. But you're spot on.
Do you have
Are
any?
like
Do you have any
basically
questions
that
of
are
me of
either
things I
bankers.
say? Do you have any questions of me about anything I say or talk about?
Honestly, no, nothing at all. Like I think you're speaking what wealthy people and rich people and people who actually have done this are like know about. This is stuff they don't even talk about it. It's already principles that are applied in their day-to-day operations. So they understand that concept. But what it is they understand that listen, these banks and these subprime mortgage companies and these realtors and these creditors want to make sure that you keep people in debt, right? So they're going to come up with these concepts and they're going to try to push these narratives on the masses so that the masses can sit down here and think like, hey, oh, I need to go into a 30-year mortgage and I'm going to generational wealth. But they don't realize that the minute they jump into that, they go into debt immediately and now they're swimming. Now they're behind the 8 ball. The reality is people should be building their infrastructure and actually building their business or building their portfolio or building something that can actually be sustainable in the future, which, you know what I mean, pays with interest and whatnot, right? Like you have a lot of these realtors who sit down here and be like, oh yeah, let's go and invest in let's go and buy this, or tell people to go and invest in real estate and go and purchase these houses, or go not even purchase, go get a mortgage for these houses. But they don't even tell these people that they don't even make 1% off of their investment.
What
So
if I told you?
literally,
What if I told you that's what they're supposed to do? What if they're? What if I told you that's supposed to? Would you believe me?
no, I would believe you, but you
They're
want to
supposed.
elaborate exactly on
The
why
ma-
they would. That's why they're
the
supposed to. Yeah.
majority must believe they can buy houses with mortgages, or else the housing market wouldn't exist. They're just on the negative side of it. If they believe they can buy a house with a mortgage, that's what they're supposed to believe. If they're supposed to believe it takes 30 years to buy a house when it only takes one day. That's their choice.
Which
That's
is
a choice. You just
understandable.
don't have to be there. Like when you talk, like I can just listen to you. You're supposed to believe and this and that. All of it is true. You don't have to be there. You can just be on this side and sell it to those people that believe that and become a multi-billionaire if you want. Come over to the positive side and just sell them everything that you just explained to me. They believe they're going to generational wealth, pass it down to their kids, the homeowner. Hey, whatever. Hey, whatever. Just sell it to them. Make sense? Did I lose you, El Selector? Did you mute? You're on mute if you're muting. Uh-oh. Must have lost him again. El Selector? Yeah, he's gone. Let me see. Try to get back. Listen, when you hear El Selector speak, it's like, and he's speaking the truth. Hey, you guys are supposed to believe that you're supposed to pass down generational wealth with a mortgage. Hey, if you believe you can pass down a house while having a mortgage on it, you're supposed to believe that. Because if you believe that, you also believe you bought a house with a mortgage. You're supposed to believe that too. Those people, listen, those people are on the negative side of the economy. They're supposed to believe all that. It doesn't matter. I'm not teasing them or anything, because I had to pay off a house, took out a HELOC when the rates were low. Then the Fed started raising the rates, had to refinance into a fixed rate 30-year, almost broke me. But you did it. Oh, okay. I'm 10. Oh, congratulations. Congratulations. It's all of a lesson. It's all a lesson. All of it. Listen, I want everybody to understand something. When mistakes happen and you learn from it, it's no longer a mistake. So when you pay this house off, Django, don't even worry about it, man. I know they got you, whatever. You just got caught up in the system. That's it. Nothing. The banks ain't bad and evil. They didn't do anything wrong. They just took advantage of you not knowing. That's it. What you're going to do is pay your house off, create a successful business, and do the same thing to debt slaves. It's nothing personal. You're just going to create your multi-millions of dollars off of debt slaves that believe the same thing you did. And that guy that might be living in a place for 3 years, all of a sudden tired of the location, then move away. Buying isn't for me unless I'm going to buy a house in Manhattan Beach, California. Exactly. And that's what I mean, Sals. Only debt slaves believe you need to be owning a house. If I'm bouncing around, hey, listen, I'll own it through a business. How about that? I'll own a house through a business. Maybe I'm not ready to settle down. You know what I would do? If when I have the money, right? What I probably do, if I'm bouncing around with SMD, what I'm going to do is I'm going to own a company that's going to buy a house in the area where I want to live. Okay. And then I'm going to rent that house out, whatever, to a person, whatever, and have them pay it off. And then when I'm ready to retire from traveling, guess what? They got to get out, and I'm moving in with a paid off house. And I advise all the SMD family members, think about where you might think you want to live in your house in your final days or wherever you want to retire. Figure out a house, go over there, see how much it costs, go to a professional that can set up this stuff, make the house part of the business, make sure the IRS knows everything you're doing, and have the renter pay that house off. So when you're ready to go wherever, it's going to be ready for you. If I knew what I know now, I would have started a business entity, detached myself, and used the business. Of course, that's how you know now. I'm gonna tell you guys, man. Everything. It's hindsight is 2020. It is okay. Just be thankful you guys got this knowledge. Be happy. Learn from your mistakes. Django Geek, a paid off house puts you ahead of millions. Okay, millions. A paid off house, man. Congratulations, man. Same to you, Lee. Same thing to you. They believe they bought a finance vehicle. They sure do. All the time. Yep, I thought I could play the game from all the debt slaves believe they could play the game from the negative side. Nope. We all know at the SMD family, we know if you're in the negative side, you are the money. The money is you. You're the money. You're the currency. You guys are the currency. Any questions? I know you guys listening. Is that you? You guys saw the title and came in and don't understand what that title means and you want to know? I know I'm only going to get about one or two of you guys, and that's just how it is. I just had to find a title. You guys, I'm not gonna go with the basic titles no more. Of hey, the pause the student loan debt, and this. You guys all talk about that. You guys got to if the president does something with the student loan debt, thousands of you guys, hundreds of thousands of you guys talk about it. You guys all talk about it. I'm just gonna keep using the psychological statements. It only takes one day to buy a house. It only takes one day to buy a car, not 84 months. You guys are going to be like, what? What does that mean? Only people who finance cars finance taxes. What does that mean, finance taxes? You guys all finance taxes. You guys all finance taxes. Imagine driving a paid off cash Mazda MX-5 convertible and laugh at the debt slave in the big vehicle next to you looking angry on the road. Angry? Why do you guys think that road rage is so bad? You guys are mad that listen, you guys are so mad because you guys are in the very things that's causing you to be in it. Do you know car payments are the reason why you're in traffic? Did you guys know that? I'm gonna say that one more time. That's one of the titles, okay? That's one of the titles I'm gonna put on the thing. Car payments are the reason why you're in traffic. Those are the SMD family. Are you listening? That's a psychological statement. They don't know what that means. What do you mean car payments are the reason why I'm in traffic? They're gonna be like, what? What the they're gonna be in traffic, they're gonna roll down the window. Hey, do you know what it means to say, hey, you're in here? The reason why you're here is because of car payments. What are you talking about? What? That's why you guys are so angry. That's what I'm saying, Jago. Hey, listen, I already see what you said, just sharing my journey for some folks in the chat. LJ, I'm so close. I can feel it. I know what you're feeling. I don't know what the paid off house feel. Django Geek, you got that on me. I don't know what the paid off house feeling is like. I don't know what that. So you're gonna have that on me. I don't know what that is. Once I get to zero, the economy ain't even ready for what I'm gonna see. What I'm saying? You already know. Nobody's gonna be able to fuck with you. Nobody. Now you guys know why I talk the way I talk. 100% confident, not wrong in anything, don't care what you say. If you disagree with math, you have a psychological problem. One day I saw you I saw you in the chat, Django, just eating dead slaves alive. No, you're not. Good debt, there's no such thing as good debt and bad debt. No, it's not. They don't have debt slaves. Listen, I'm gonna say this again. When S&B family is in the chat, death slaves, you guys are defenseless. You guys have no bullets, no gun, nothing. No ammo of any kind, nothing. You guys are unarmed. And the worst part about it, you guys don't even know it. When you guys start hearing me on the mic, start trying to get, oh, who is this old guy? He don't know what he's talking about. He should get off. You guys are going to get eaten alive, totally, to where you guys are going to leave. And you know, so crazy. And I'm gonna keep it anonymous because I'm gonna just leave it like that. But you guys are, I might tell it one day, but you guys are gonna be surprised at the biggest troll of them all. S&D family, people that follow, there's a troll. I'm not gonna tell you guys who it is because he got my service a long time ago, and he is the biggest troll. I keep my mouth shut. I don't say nothing. I don't say nothing, but he's always trolling like he wants me to say something. Because I just want to say, why are you trolling? It makes no sense. You paid for my service. Oh, just because you didn't do it. Now you're mad? And so you're gonna troll. But he doesn't mention that he purchased my service. He'll talk shit, but he won't mention it. I'm gonna leave it alone. But he keeps trolling. I'm gonna tell everybody. Because if you come get a service from me and you don't use the blueprint that I give you, that's your problem. because you don't leave me without me mathematically showing you what I'm doing to you. If I show you the math and the math adds up and I give it to you and you don't use it, that's your problem. Because before you leave me, I'm going to ask you, does this math make sense to you? If you say yes, and then we're going to part ways. Is student loan debt good or bad? Just wondering, in your opinion. Yes. Student loan debt means you are owned by the government until you pay them back. So all the people in student loan debt, those are called debt slaves because they owe money to the government. And then if they don't pay it, they're going to be paying for their entire life, aka owned. People that believe student loan debt is normal, that's bad. Imagine buying a calculator and not trusting. And which, hey, Django, everybody has the calculator app on their phone. Everybody. And you know what I heard? And I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard they're going to remove the calculator app off as a standard app on the phones. That's what I heard. Now, this is a rumor. I don't know if it's true, but let me tell you something. If they remove the calculator app off of cell phones, you guys are in trouble. You guys are in big trouble. If they remove the calculator app, because you guys don't even use it now. You guys don't even use the calculator app on your phone. Because if you did, you wouldn't be a debt slave. But if they remove that calculator app, this is when you guys are in trouble. When they remove the calculator app and then they switch to digital currency, you guys are in trouble. Sorry about that. Digital currency, listen, all you millions of people in those 1099 jobs not paying your taxes, the IRS can't catch you all. But switching to digital currency, they can. You know why? Because you got to eat. You got to live somewhere. It means you got to have a job. That means you have to work somewhere. That means you have to work for a company that's going to report your income. And then they're going to take it. Just like W-2, just like the W-2 jobs. What you guys got to understand, once it goes full digital currency, that goes through everything, personal, business, everything. All you guys behind on taxes in your business, all of that changes. You guys making payments, all of that changes, all of it. Because they can just take it. That's why, like, think about all the money they was losing on when tips were cash. Imagine all the money they were losing on taxes because you guys wasn't reporting them tips. Now all the tips are digital. Hey, how much a tip do you want? You better believe that's tax now, all of it. He said, I still got my Texas Instrument I-84. Wow. They believe Biden was going to erase it. Yeah, they do. They did. Yep. If they remove that calculator, ooh. I remember being 15 at my first job using the phone calculator to figure out my next paycheck. This gift was always, yep. Debt slaves don't do that. You better believe Uber drivers, you guys are in, ooh. Uber, Lyft, all you guys that have adjusted your lives to not paying your taxes for the last 5 years, you guys are going to be literally working slaves, literally. They go come and give you an option, jail or pay your taxes. What you going to be doing? You're going to pay your taxes. But when they switch to digital, ooh, man. Right now, listen, debt slaves, you guys don't really understand. All the government, the IRS has to do is just mandate Uber to pull the taxes out before they pay you. That's all they really have to do. They really don't have to wait to digital currency. They can just go to Uber, go to Lyft, and say, everybody you pay, take out a certain percentage of taxes out of each person. They can just do that and then require them to do that. Guess what? You guys will have to work the same amount of hours and make less money to keep up with your lifestyle. Literally, debt slaves, literally. LJ put it into words, and now I'm laser focused. Sure is. That's what listen, that's what happens to all the SMD family members, Django Geek. That's what happens to, I'm just telling you, that's what happens. Once you guys get to where you guys get to, the game changes. You're like, fuck everybody. I don't care what you're talking about. I'm going straight to multimillionaire. Oh no, job's a tool. We're not friends. You know, I'm here to make money. I'm not here to make no friend. It just changes. Now you're the asshole. And you're not really an asshole. You're just like, hey, my time is my time. Oh, they're all scared, Sal. They're all scared. DoorDash, all of them. Barbers. All you guys making transactions on CashApp, not telling the IRS nothing. Do you think CashApp is not telling the IRS? They're telling the IRS everything. Or else CashApp wouldn't exist. Do you guys understand how that works? If CashApp wasn't sharing their information with the IRS, CashApp wouldn't exist. You think CashApp can go be that big and not tell the IRS how much money they're making? Absolutely not. So every transaction you've made on CashApp and did some business and did it through, and then you didn't report it, they already know. They already know that you didn't report it. They already know. You don't know. Because whenever they come knocking on your door, your numbers are not going to add up because you didn't tell them. They already know. People with finance Tesla drive Uber to make the payments. Exactly. People that drive Teslas for Uber, you guys don't know that they're not even going to need a driver. You guys are out of a job. Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, you guys are about to be out of a job because Tesla's about to take over with no drivers. And guess whose cars Tesla's going to be using? Debt slaves' cars, just like Uber does it, but with Teslas. And it's like, Uber and Lyft, they can mandate, say, hey, your car has to be this year. It has to be, it has to have the good brakes, tires, blah, blah, blah. Tesla can check their cars with a push of a button to see if they meet the requirements. If your car doesn't meet the requirements, you're out. And you can't participate until it does. So they make the debt slave maintain the car. And imagine if Tesla puts in a stipulation. All right, well, as soon as your battery reaches this many hours, you can no longer participate in the Tesla program. Make them all pay for new batteries. Congratulations, Tesla. I see you. I see you, Mr. Musk. Congratulations. I see how you're going to Mars. Congratulations to you, sir. Barbara, swear they low. Uncle Sam is laser. Uncle Sam is laser focused. You can't ball fade a hair braid or your way out of the debt. Sure can't. All of them think, if you listen, debt slaves, if you're trying to avoid taxes, that means you don't know how to play. That's why you're trying to trick them, or you're only tricking yourself. LJ, did you jump straight into LLC or were you a sole proprietor? I did a LLC, but there's some things there I would have did differently too, because all LLCs are, and it counts on what kind of business you're getting into, but all LLCs are public. So if you do an LLC from a building, it's cool. It doesn't matter. But if you're doing an LLC from home, you got to remember that your LLC is public. So it'll be your home address and all that other stuff, right? But if you're doing a home business, you find a service, and I had to learn this. You find a service that can service your LLC. So you put the LLC behind the service. So whenever somebody looks up your LLC, they'll see the service address, and the servicer will give you any important notices or documents that may come from the city or state or the government. So that's a words of wisdom right there for you. How do you report it? How do you report what, Zyphy? Yeah, Mr. Musk is brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. This country was founded on avoiding taxes. No, it was founded. This country was founded on taxes, not avoiding taxes. A tax. It was founded on tax. It is founded on taxes. Taxes are the backbone of all capitalist economies. That was some free game right there. I'm taking notes. Yeah, you're welcome. All right. Any questions before I get out of here? Well, how long have I been on here? Hour and 45 minutes. Wow. Any questions? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. You're welcome, Django Geek. I could tell how you guys be talking now, man. I'm proud of you guys. You guys got the lingo down, everything. The IRS is the only arm of the government that generates revenue. What's up, Alonzo?
What's going on, LJ? How are you?
How you doing, sir? Welcome to
I'm
the
doing
show.
well.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Great information as always. The reality, it hits so hard. And like you said, it becomes a glitch in people's matrix. I just wanted to mention actually uh, what you read that I had typed in the chat. Because, those things, like you said, even like with the refinancing. I have a friend who's a CPA. The average person refinances inside of the first 7 to 10 years.
Right. Yep. I
But
believe that.
do people realize refinancing means you're going to restart a 30-year obligation? So they'll
No.
go for 10 years.
The answer is no, Alonzo. They don't know that.
Yeah.
See how simple that was? No. Go ahead, man.
That's just it's sickening. It's especially with what I do, and people use those buzzwords, generational wealth, and I'm like, okay, yes, but there's things like taxes.
Well, you got to remember, Alonzo, what you do, you have to find balance because you ain't gonna make no money. If you say,
Right.
"Hey, that's wrong," you got to separate. Remember, they're there by choice. Get your money. Don't be. This is business. Don't ruin your way out of money. Without them, there is no us.
Right.
So you gotta figure out a balance. How you gonna transit? Maybe you'll find somebody that, hey, this person has potential. I'll tell them, but you find the people that are clueless. You gotta just make your money.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna definitely start doing that because, it's funny. If I can, real quick, like I got a guy who's paying $50,000 a year on his policy, but it's for tax purposes. This is actually because of his annual income. He makes too much money for the Roth IRA or the 401k traditionally. So we're setting him up so he can contribute any amount he wants. Right now it's just 50,000 to a retirement account for himself. But it's also multiplying his dollars. And so the way that it's set up is very much like you're saying, LJ. People don't even know the questions to ask. And I think that's where my frustration is because I'm trying to teach him and I guess I just can't. You just got to let the dum-dums be dum-dums and suck up their money.
Oh, is he in personal debt? Do you know if he's in personal debt?
No, actually, yes, he is. He has a mortgage, but we've already executed a plan to knock 10 years off of that. And other than that, he has no debt. So what we're doing is something called an executive bonus plan. So they're saving them tax dollars up front from the corporation
Okay,
because
let me
he's an
make
S
sure I'm
corp.
clear for a second. Is this business or is this a friend?
Oh, this is business.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Yeah. So what happened is because of the structure of his business, he's a sole prop, but he's an S corp. So because of the structure of his business, we're taking advantage of some things and saving him about $130,000 a year in taxes. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay, and he's paying you for the service.
No, I get a commission.
Okay, no, I
Yeah.
mean you get money for business,
Yes.
correct? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. That's it. Okay. So it's like I said, there's nothing wrong with business, all right. But as you know, as SMD, you can't invest in anything with a mortgage.
Right.
You got no money. So that's why I asked. That's why I asked, was it business or personal? Get your money, but we know as SMD, you can't. You have no money to invest when you have a mortgage.
Right.
So you don't get no tax breaks, nothing. None of all of that is psychological when you have a mortgage. But if you want to make money, because the majority are debt slaves, you have to sell to people that believe whatever. So I
Right.
get it. I get it. Because
Exactly.
he believes he's saving money on taxes, but in reality, he's not.
All that money is going to the mortgage.
Yeah, because he don't really have no money to put in the plan to reduce his taxes. I'm not saying the plan that you said wouldn't work. I'm just saying he doesn't have the money to
You don't
do
have
it.
the money.
Correct. In reality. But
And
in business, you make it work to way you need it to work to make money. It's not a big deal.
I love the way you break things down, LJ.
You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
I'm gonna go ahead and watch from the clouds. Thank you for being around
Yes,
for us,
sir.
brother.
Yes, sir. See, I want Alonzo to figure out the balance because that is a conflict. Like you got to know that you have to make in order to make money, the majority are debt slaves. So you got to sell to them. All right. But when you have this SMD knowledge and you're in that business, it's like a conflict in your mind. Well, you're not really, you don't have any, but if you do that, you ain't gonna make no money. So you have to find balance. So like, okay, is this a personal friend? No, then it's business, nothing personal. But when it comes to personal friends, it's a little different. What's up, Andre? All right, we're gonna wrap this up then, man. Without Texas, without taxes, those California and Minneapolis pavements would look like something like Alabama, right? I noticed down south they don't have a lot of sidewalks. I've noticed that. Like I've lived in Washington all my life. Visit California. We all have sidewalks, and you go down south, they're just not there. It's like weird. When you see somebody walking down the side of the road, I guess they ain't got no choice, but it's just weird. Yep, exactly. It's nothing personal. All right, I guess we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you, everybody. Lonzo, appreciate you joining up. Appreciate El Selector. Thank you for jumping up here on the panel. And Andre, real quick, I was telling them that you see the title of the video. That's a psychological title. So what I'm gonna start doing is making all of the lives, making them psychological titles, which will grab a death slave because they don't really know what these titles mean. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. Well, you guys have a good one, man. Have a good one later.